Our Mr. Popularity, which is good. All right, team. Hello. Welcome to Wednesday.
Hi, Jill.
Everyone I've chatted to so far is seeming to do well. So I hope that's true for all of you. And just our quick reminders at the start. Just remember on your end, any noise that happens, we can hear. So just remember to put yourself on mute if get a phone call or anything like that. That'd be super appreciated. And then remember, we come on a little bit at the start. We have some break times, and then during stretch times, those are our awesome socializing times. That's where I want you to save all your funny jokes and comments for those times. Other than if you have questions throughout, please ask them. Okay, but the socializing piece will save for more appropriate time than the work piece. Okay, now what did we work on last week?
Shoulders, wasn't it? I wasn't there.
Wow, Rick,
ESP.
you weren't even here, but you knew. Are you psychic?
ESP, man.
That's amazing.
I was here and I can't.
So yes, we worked on a couple shoulder exercises.
You mean
that
we washed
are
walls, right?
we did some household chores, which were all designed to help us get more movement or mobility through our upper back. So remember, that's called your thoracic spine, and that's where your rib cage attaches into. So all those exercises are designed to help you open up through the chest.
So that's the chest. And what about these lower ribs here? Because they seem very, very stiff.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes
let's try to get them feeling good. So I'm sitting super close to the camera to start so you can actually get good visibility of my shoulders and arms. So let's review them because that's an excellent warm up for what we're going to get into today as well. So arms, elbows bent. And our first exercise is reaching up. So lifting that elbow up, keeping it tucked in, and it's the slicking the hair back. And remember, I know a couple of you have given me heck for this. If you don't have hair, then we're just rubbing the head. Boy, I never thought I'd have to be so careful with what I call an exercise. So lift that arm up, get that elbow up. And remember, if you don't have a shoulder issue, it's actually good to really reach that elbow up. And keep that elbow tucked in. Let your chest get pulled forward with that arm. And another important key to this, gang, is breathing in as we lift that arm up. That's again going to help us expand through that rib cage, and then breathing out through pursed lips as that hand comes down. And that's going to slow down a couple of you, which is good, because that mobility piece, when we talk about improving our range of motion or our mobility, it means we have to challenge it through every rep. So every time we reach back, go to that point of a little bit of tightness and then come back. Reach up that arm, go to that little bit of tightness and then come back. So each time we go, hopefully we can get a little bit further and further back. Excellent. All right, so number 2 is reaching across our body, giving yourself that pat on the back. And if this movement, if you feel any kind of pinching or sharpness at the front of the shoulder, then I just want you reaching across chest level rather than getting that elbow up to pat yourself on the back. So again, this is getting that slight little bit of rotation through your upper back. Keep time with your breathing. So maintain that pattern of breathing in, filling up that belly, and breathing out through pursed lips. Excellent job, team. All right, well, that was close to 20. And 20 is the number I want you to practice on your own. So that third exercise is starting with kind of hands by your belly, but we're gonna get those palms up, tuck the elbows in, and let those thumbs get pulled back. You'll notice I'm creating a W with my arms and then bring them back in. So it's helpful to inhale as I pull those thumbs back. Remember, it's different than drifting the arms away. If I turn sideways, you'll see I'm getting that rotation at the shoulder. So that elbow, if I exaggerate, that elbow comes forward as the thumbs go back, and we're letting that chest get pulled forward. Inhale, pull those thumbs back. Exhale to bring those hands back in. Did anyone try doing this with a frame of reference? So we talked about being in a doorway, seeing how far back the thumbs get in relation to the doorway, or touching thumbs to the wall. How close can you get on either side? Did anyone manage to get a frame of reference for themselves?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
You know,
yet.
sometimes we talk about too many great ideas, but we can't implement them all at once.
I've got a gimp shoulder, so it won't work.
Yes. And again, that frame of reference though is if you get to here, can you get there every time? And even if you're never able to get way back, maybe you improve from here to here.
One I can, but not the other.
Yes, sometimes you got that hard lock and it's not able to. All right, gang, shake out those arms. Excellent job. And then as that reminder, that fourth exercise was sliding a cloth up a wall or just your hand. If you've got that available to you, we're just going to do 10 per side. And if you don't have that available to you and you have a shoulder that feels good, then I want you to mimic the movement just to get into the pattern. Okay, and so that would be just sliding that hand up the wall or your invisible wall and down. And this is where I will actually move back so that you get the foot pattern as well. As we slide that hand up the wall, I want your same leg to step forward and then back. Good, so slide it up. And remembering if lifting up that arm, if that bothers your shoulder, that's where the cloth is super helpful. And we also talked about if that overhead movement is too much, then you get something that's about waist height. So your counter, a taller table, and then you can just slide that arm along the table and still start to work and improve on that mobility. That had to have been 10. So let's switch arms. And it is helpful to breathe, time the movement to your breathing. So for this, and this is where it sometimes gets confusing, is I want you breathing in as you slide that arm up, because even though it's exertion and we normally breathe out on exertion, I want you breathing in because it's that expansion of your rib cage as we reach up is helping with that mobility. Versus if we were to lift a weight overhead, it would be more helpful to breathe out to give us more strength and stability through our core to do that strength movement. All right, shake out those arms. Excellent, excellent job, gang. So that was our quick review of what we worked on last week. Anyone feeling looser, even just after one set?
Yeah.
A couple nods, a couple thumbs up. Perfect. All right. So from here, now what we're going to do is we're going to get just a bit more dynamic, get that heart rate up a little bit. And today we're going to work on different types of intensity and what that looks like for you. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about asking yourself 2 questions at the beginning of class. The first question is, what is my energy like today? And some of us were tracking it, right? So a scale of 0 to 10. 10 out of 10 energy for you, not compared to everyone else. This is your scale. 10 out of 10 energy is, this is my most energetic that I can get. I'm feeling whoo, ready to go. And then the opposite of that is, I have nothing today. I should be napping. And then that second question is, how is my breathlessness today? What is my breathing like? Okay, so if we went 10 out of 10, my breathing for me is really good today. My oxygen numbers are up, I'm good. And we don't ever really get to 0 out of 10. But you know, our 1 or 2 out of 10 is, ooh, I'm really struggling. My oxygen's really low. Like I've got to be super, super careful today. Okay, and those 2 things start off how we start your exercises. Because one day you're going to be feeling great, you can push and feel good for it. And another day, you know, if it's smoky outside, if the pollen's really bad, you had a bad sleep, it's just a flare up, you're going to have to go slower than what you think you might need to. Okay, and it's
hard
important
to separate the two. Like if your breathing is really bad, how can you feel energetic? Like if
You're right. You're right. Not often do we separate the two. Sometimes, so you're absolutely right. Often, if your breathing is bad and you feel like your breathing is bad, your energy is automatically low. Now, the reason I usually get those 2 is I've had some people not understand, like their breathing seems fine for them, but their energy is low. So your breathing can be okay and your energy can be low from different reasons. And while I keep explaining that, let's just start to circle our arms in a figure 8 pattern so we can start getting the heart pumping a little bit more. You know, you can be having, your oxygen numbers can be fine and good, but if you've had a bad sleep, maybe your body's struggling with an illness, or you've had a lot of stress in the past week. You know, I've had people that, you know, oh geez, I've had 4 days of company and I'm exhausted. Even though the breathing is fine, you've got to be careful because your energy is low. And, you know, to put it simply, we've got a battery. And if your battery is at 100%, great. But the more we drain that battery, the more time we need to recharge it. Does that make sense to everybody? And there's different things that impact that battery. And I've also had people who are feeling low energy and try to push hard. And then I go, well, let's have a look at your oxygen numbers, because they didn't think to look because their breathing felt fine, but their oxygen was low. But the only symptom they had was that they were feeling tired. So you're absolutely right. If you're breathing, if you're struggling with your breathing, that's a big sign for you. And a lot of you, most of you are really, really good at listening to that. But there's the flip side. Even if your breathing is really good, if you're low energy, you might not be able to do as much work, because then it'll take longer to recover the next day. Now, rest your arms and let's just step forward 1 foot at a time. So our bodies are kind of funny, gang. And I have to have this conversation with quite a few clients. There's there's a balancing act exercise, and not just improving your balance, but there's a balance between working hard enough to improve your capacities. Meaning, if you only ever do movements that don't challenge you at all and they're not tiring at all, that's not going to improve your capacities, right? But if you're constantly pushing too hard, then you're in a constant state of needing to recover, and your body doesn't have the energy to improve its capacities either. And that's kind of why our motto in class is challenging yet doable. It's challenging enough to kind of signal to your body, hey, I need to get better at this. Let's improve on this. But it's doable so that you don't really, your body doesn't just give up at it. It actually has a chance for some success to work at it. So, leading into today's topic of intensity. Now, there's a couple things I usually tell you for class. Rest those legs and push those arms forward and back. There's usually a couple things I tell you on, things that require more oxygen. What are they?
Moving more body parts at the same time.
That's right. So the more body parts that are moving, the more oxygen your body needs. And remember, we talked 2 weeks ago about your body needs oxygen to create energy. So the more body parts are moving, it's going to take more energy, and that's why it needs more oxygen. Perfect. What's another one?
Speed?
We're a little bit
Speed. There we
brain
go.
dead today.
That's okay. I'm going to keep pushing at you. And it's going to be challenging, but doable. So I heard someone say speed. That's right. So going faster, the faster you move, the more oxygen you need, the more intense that exercise is. Excellent. And what's another one? There's
Duration.
a third one.
Duration.
It's true, the longer you go and rest those arms, step one foot out to the side, the longer you go, the harder it is. But I usually say one other one, and it's a group of 3.
Amount of weight you're doing or something? Or
So Rick, that's awesome, because that's a new one I'm going to add to today. You're absolutely right. The one I normally say is range of motion.
right.
So an example here is, everyone's going to do this with me. You're going to step your foot out just a little bit past your hip and back. Step that foot out just a little bit past your hip and back. Okay, so a smaller step. This is a smaller range of motion. Now, to whatever your capability is, I want you to take a bigger step. So whatever a bigger step for you looks like. Now, is there a difference between those two movements?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right? That longer range of motion takes more energy to move your foot further out to the side, and therefore it needs more oxygen. Excellent. Now, rest those legs. Take your hands. You're going to clasp them together. Don't worry, we're not saying any prayers. Today's a gentler class. Now, we're lifting up to the forehead and down. And if you have a shoulder or neck that does not like overhead movements right now, then I just want you to press out in front. So it's just that little movement out in front or up to the forehead.
Oh, I did that.
Now, as you lift, I want you to press your palms together and then relax them on the way down. So press your palms together, bring them back down. All right. Now, to whatever your capability is, I want you to reach up higher. So maintain that breathing pattern. Press your palms together as you lift up.
Must be.
Guys, there's the cutest puppy outside right now. This is why I don't usually sit by windows.
Yes.
It was a golden retriever.
Oh,
Your heart is sure aching for that puppy.
I know, September, fingers crossed.
That's 20.
All right, now rest there. So again, you can feel that difference. The further you reach, the harder it is.
mhm.
Now, the reason I'm getting you guys to do this is because it's really easy. I know you all have the conceptual understanding of, well, of course, the more I move my arms, the more I reach my legs, the harder it is. But it's sometimes hard to remember that stuff when you are struggling. So we're really going to build a thorough understanding of what it feels like and how to modify today, okay? So I think that's really, really important so that you never feel like, oh, I can't do this at all. What am I supposed to do? If you don't feel like you're being challenged, or if you feel like it's too much, okay? So now, here's what we're going to do. You're going to lift up your foot one at a time. Just a little way. Actually, we're going to start with this. Sorry, keep your feet on the ground, lift up just your heel, one at a time. So we're just lifting up one heel at a time. Good. Does this feel like something that everybody can do?
Do this.
Yes.
Okay. And some of you, if you've got any pain in your ankle, you know, the lower body stuff doesn't work. You're always welcome to replace a lower body movement with your arms, or just do what you can. Now, what I'm going to get everyone to do is, to whatever you can, go faster. Go faster at lifting one heel at a time. Faster if you can. Faster if you can. I'm going as fast as I can. If she says faster one more time. So go, go, go. And rest. Now go slow. Now, was that harder to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an example of increasing the intensity. We kept the feet on the ground, lifting up just one heel at a time. And now go faster. And remember, faster for you can look different than faster for someone else. Faster, faster, faster. And rest. Go slow, or fully rest if that's what your body needs. All right, now you have a choice on the next one. You are either going to keep lifting up your heels, going fast, or you're going to lift up one knee at a time. Okay, so let's do that now. You're either going faster with your heels, or you're lifting up one knee at a time.
For how long?
Till she
10
says
minutes.
so.
At least 10 more seconds. That's about clear as mud. Good, so we're just lifting up one knee at a time. Again, we've increased the range of motion. Instead of just lifting up the heel, we're lifting up the whole leg.
I
And
cannot do
rest.
that at this time.
40.
What's that, Carmen?
I cannot do that at this time. I'm just dragging my legs. I'm too tired, I guess, from my pool exercises.
No
It's like
problem.
1.5 hours there, and then
Yeah.
I'm
So
just
remember-
dragging my legs at this time.
Yeah, and that's okay. You got to listen to your body.
Yeah.
It's still good information. And maybe you can lift one heel at a time.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Perfect. And that's an excellent example of, okay, my body isn't able, high intensity for me today is not increasing the range of motion. This is too much for my body. So I'm going to decrease the range of motion. And this is exactly why we're doing today's topic, guys, is the difference between increasing intensity and decreasing intensity. It doesn't have to look like going as fast as you can and then stopping. There's a lot of difference and a lot of variation in how you can increase intensity for what your body needs today. So if lifting the knee felt really good, we're lifting the knee again, or you're decreasing that range of motion. And we're going to increase the intensity. If this feels comfortable for you, increase the intensity by going a little bit faster. And again, I've been moving my arms automatically. That's going to require, that's even more intense. You're welcome to rest your arms. And rest. So go to a lower intensity for you. For some of you, that's complete rest, focusing on the breathing. For some of you, maybe it's lifting up the heels. Maybe it's still marching, but not lifting the knees as high and going slower. All right. Now you've got about 10 more seconds and we're going to increase the intensity again, whatever that looks like to you. 3, 2, and go. Excellent job, everybody. So I've increased my range of motion. I'm getting my knees higher and I'm moving my feet a little bit quicker. And lower intensity. So now for me, I've decided to not lift my feet as high and to go slower. Lower intensity, I could also just lift up my heels and down. There we go. So for the next round, again, doing what feels right for you, let's now add in multiple body parts. So now I'm going to get the arms moving with the legs purposefully. So for you today, if your higher intensity is lifting up your heels and you're deciding to go faster, you can try reaching out one arm at a time with that heel. Or you can get your leg marching. Okay, so we've got kind of 3 options there. We can increase the range of motion, you can increase the speed, and now we can add in body parts. And you might be able to do 1, 2, or all 3 of those. It all depends. So ready, increasing the intensity in 3, 2, and go. So whatever increasing the intensity looks like to you. And it's important to maintain that breathing pattern. Remember to breathe out through pursed lips. And lower the intensity. Now, you might have the question, how do I know what's too high intensity or what's too low intensity? So I like the 10-point scales. You can even do a 5-point scale. We talked about gears a couple of weeks ago, and we actually used 5th gear, right? We used 5 gears. So that intensity, if we think about increasing the intensity, the goal is to go to 4 or 5th gear of whatever you can contribute today, and then back down to kind of 1st gear. And 1st gear for some of you, again, is that recovery breath. It's that recovery position. It's coming down. Some of you, it's that light movement. Now, a couple things to focus on, gang, is in the past, we've talked, someone brought up, okay, well, I can no longer take in that full breath. I feel like I'm only taking in half a breath. That's a sign that we've pushed too hard. And this is actually something that a lot of people struggle with. It's that concept of, well, like I feel like I'm fine and I'm pushing hard until all of a sudden I'm not. You feel like you gotta go 100% to get the benefit, but that's really, really not true. And finding the appropriate rest to work ratio, so being able to go work a little bit harder within your capacity today and now come back down to what is low intensity for you today, recover and then get back up. That ability to do that properly is going to get you the most benefit in improving your breathing capacity with this type of exercise, with interval exercise. And it's going to have the most benefit on how your body can absorb oxygen and how well your body can recover. Okay, so
I find if I'm gasping for breath after exertion, it's because I'm not using my torso anymore. I'm just using my upper body to breathe through. And once I start using my torso again, then I start getting full breaths again.
yes, so you've gone to what's called the chest breath rather than also the belly breath.
Right. And I do it subconsciously, I guess, but that's what happens to me most of the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Super, super common. They sometimes call them getting a stitch. Have you ever heard that? People go kind of in their rib cage or their collarbone. They go, oh, I've got a stitch or I've got a cramp.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a common sign. You're absolutely right, Rick, that we're not taking in that deeper breath. And that's why during that recovery time, when we talk about reducing the intensity, it should be an intensity that's low enough for you to take in those deep, full breaths. And some of you need to completely stop moving and just focus on your breathing in order for that to happen. And some of you are able to keep moving while doing that. And so that's a really, really important cue, is your low intensity should be low enough that you can take in those deeper recovery breaths. And sometimes that's after a couple of breaths, because we've talked about, okay, if I get myself working hard and I'm puffed and I'm going, right, until your breathing can settle down. But the goal is still trying to breathe out through pursed lips and trying to bring that breathing back down under control. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So on that same line, so Rick also brought up increasing intensity, which I love. So everyone is going to grab their weight. If you've got a weight. If you do not have a weight and have a resistance band, you can use that instead as well. So actually put the weight to the side. We're going to use one movement and we're going to go over each of those points of intensity. So take your hands. Now you're going to push them halfway out and back in. Now we're going to do 10 to 20 of each one at each intensity, at each mode of intensity. So if you're low on energy, low on breathing today, just do 10. If you're feeling great, get up to 20 or anywhere in between. I'm going to go to 15 for everything. I'll go the in between. So we're going halfway out and back in. All right. Now we're going to reach fully out and fully back. Fully out in front and then pull those elbows all the way back. Out and back. Out and back. So really push and pull back. Push and pull back. And I'm warning you now, your arms are going to get tired.
Late.
They're already tired.
Right, so do 10 or 5 if you need, and then rest and wait for the next one, right? So then you're getting some rest time in. So get that full range of motion. Push and then pull all the way back. Push, pull all the way back. All right, now we're going to go fast. Whatever fast is to you. Ready, go. Make sure you can still maintain your breathing pattern. All right, so that's halfway. That's past halfway. Who am I kidding? And rest. Good work, team. Now that last one is grab the weight. You got 2 hands on one weight. And if you've got your resistance band, I would suggest you put it around your back so it comes out underneath your armpits. So we're going back to slow, full range if you can. Then it's out and then all the way back. Out and all the way back. All the way out, all the way back. Maintain that breathing. There we go, team. Good. And rest. Now, what you kind of want to think to yourself is, which of those were challenging? And maybe which one was the most challenging?
Wait.
Because, yeah, so for some of you, it might be the speed. For some of you, it might be that weight. For some of you, it might have just been the full range. You were able to do the weight, but you had to keep it in close. You couldn't go full range. Okay. Now, you are either, and you're getting a bit of that rest time, so make sure you're getting your recovery breathing. So now you are either marching if you need to stay seated, or we're going to do sit to stands. Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh no. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. You're going to challenge yourself to do 5 to 10. Actually, we're going to start with 5. So here's number 1. We're going halfway up and back down. Ready? Let's go.
can't do that.
Right. So what is the option for those who are staying seated?
I have to go all the way up or not at all. I don't have a half. Well, I like doing
Okay.
to see if I can do it, you know. Every
Yep.
one is a win, eh?
Can you, well,
Do it.
Clancy, can you
All or
rock
nothing,
forward
Clancy.
just enough that your bum leaves the chair and then come back down?
Why, I think I can stand up for a couple.
Okay, well, save yourself because we're going to do those. Right now, we're just practicing those partial range of motions. So even if you just lean forward, get your bum out of the seat and back,
It doesn't come off.
that's okay. Even just the motion of pushing through your feet and then down. Okay, now rest there. Okay. Now, guys,
Everyone's in
now
agreement
guys,
with the
be
rest.
careful because we've got a couple of these to do at different intensities. So don't do too many. Brace yourself. Okay, so now just for 5, and if you want to do just 1, if you're low energy today, that's awesome. I want you to go all the way up and down.
5.
So now it's that full range all the way up and down. So kind of go at a steady pace. Make sure you're not plopping in your seat. And remember, it's better for those leg muscles if you aren't using your hands. You're not putting your hands on your thighs to push off. You're not using your chair. But that is a way of reducing the intensity on those legs and regaining some balance. So if that's what you need to do to have that challenging yet doable balance, then that's what you got to do. Okay, that had to be 5.
I won.
I've done 10.
You did 10. Nice work.
Oh my gosh.
Now, make sure you're breathing. That next one is, can you do it safely with control a little bit faster? Now, remember, that's either marching if you're staying seated. You can get part way up and part way down. So you can limit that range of motion in order to increase the speed in a safe way. Also to keep in mind, whenever we're changing positions, so standing up from a seated position, that can impact your balance. So just make sure you got something close by. You got a table or an extra chair, okay? So that you don't lose your balance. Now, remember, 5 is the goal. If you don't quite get there, that's fine. And there's a difference between trying to go as fast as you possibly can, which is typically out of control, and just trying to go a bit faster than what you were doing before. Good?
It'll be my last hurrah.
Just do 1. All
Go.
right,
Jill,
go.
I have to ask, can we do it at home instead of going to Safeway?
What?
Yeah, Safeway is probably a far walk for you, Terry.
Yeah, I'd sooner do it at home.
Yeah, you bet. You can do it the Safeway way at home. Now, guys, that was way more than 5.
Look at him.
Yeah.
How is it that
Way to
I'm
go.
the one who's on count today? What is happening? Good, so now catch your breath, because we have one more set of those. And this time we're gonna go slow with the weight.
You go right
And if you want to do the sit to stand, but you're not quite ready at the level of holding the weight, just do the slower time with us, okay? And if you're seated and staying seated, then I want you just to hold the weight. And again, push your legs into the ground and then come back down, and holding that weight is still gonna add to the intensity. So again, we're building on our understanding of how can I adjust my intensity for what I need today, and giving you all the examples of how to do that. Now, if you're feeling recovered, hold that weight. And again, we're gonna go that bit slower. And if you can't hold the weight, that's fine. Just go the bit slower, and that's still gonna be that strength piece, okay? So ready? And it's up to 3, down to 3, up to 3, down, 2, 3, making sure you're breathing out as you stand, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Tighten up your core, up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Last one, make sure you crush that walnut between your bum cheeks. Up and down, 2, 3. Good. All right. So we've done kind of 2 rounds of different movements at different ways, methods of adjusting the intensity. Can you guys feel the difference?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty big difference in how we can go about changing that stuff, right? Does anyone have questions so far on what we've talked about? No? Okay. Do you feel like you're getting a better understanding of how to adjust the exercises so that you are getting the most benefit during class?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crucial for me.
Perfect. And most importantly on that, both adjusting intensity on high days where you're feeling great and can push harder, and especially on low days where you need to pull back a little bit. Okay,
It's
so
hard, Jill, if you've had a lot of low days and now you've got beautiful sunshine and a high day. You just want to just go for it, you know?
yeah. And you can go for it a little bit more, but again, it's just like we talk about when we talk about increasing intensity, it's not always going 100%. It's just going a little bit more than what your low intensity is.
I'll try that.
Okay,
Okay.
A little
Sounds
bit
great.
more than you did before.
that's right. That little bit more than what you've done before. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, gang. We've got just one more group of exercise that I want to take you through. And if you've got any questions at all on managing your intensity for your workouts so that it's challenging yet doable, please let me know. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do is using the weight. You're going to start in the middle of your chest. You're going to take it up slightly higher to about in line with the shoulder. And you're going to move it down. Up and down. Up and down. So maintain your breathing. We're paddling that weight. Good. And switch sides. Now, on this type of a movement where we've got a moving weight, very important that you are keeping tight through your core. That's going to help protect your back. Good. 10. Now, put your weight just to the side, or you can keep it on your lap as long as it doesn't roll off. Hands together. And again, increasing the intensity. This is a method of increasing the range of motion. If you're standing, your legs have to work a little bit more. So this is increasing the intensity. Takes more energy to stand versus to sit. Now take your hands, shoulder to hip. And I just want you going faster than what you were doing with the weight. But you have to maintain that tightness in your core. There we go, and switch sides. Maintain that tightness in your core and paddle those hands. We're in a canoe race, gang.
Oh, we're losing. We're going in circles again.
Well, it's how many circles can you make in 10 seconds?
Lots.
Oh.
and rest. Good. Now, if that felt good, you're going to take the weight. So do your slow weight movement because we're keeping that core super tight. And then for you, I want you just to go a little bit quicker than what that slow movement in, but you have to maintain your breathing and you have to keep that core tight. There we go. And switch sides. Maintain that breathing, keep that core tight. And rest. So that last exercise combined increasing the amount of resistance and increasing your speed to up the intensity. And that should have felt like the more challenging one.
Yeah.
Because the more factors you add on, the harder it gets. How is everybody doing?
Good,
Fine.
good, good, good.
Good. Awesome. Put your weight to the side.
I thought you said you're going easy on us today.
Cheers.
You know, I may have let that slip, Barry. Sometimes it's not about, sometimes it's just about keeping you all here with me. If you come on too strong, that's when you start losing people.
She's just so full of enthusiasm.
It's not your fault, Jill, because I just went for my other rehab, that's why. It's not your fault.
Thank you, Carmen. I'm sure glad one of you is really understanding of me today. All right.
I think it's an attachment problem. You want so badly to get your puppy to be attached. And you don't have the puppy yet, but you got this class. And away we go.
You know, you'd be surprised at how many people I encounter that compare themselves to a puppy.
Yes.
Now, elbows bent. We're gonna start to cool down, and I'm just gonna take you through our shoulder exercises one more time so that when you get the email from Maureen, you're going, I know exactly how to do that. So lifting up that hand, keeping that elbow in, because I sent the exercises to her right before class. So lift that hand up. This is slicking the hair back.
Barry's got to be careful that the genie doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Rubbing the ball. Yeah, that's.
Now remember, gang, along with the challenging yet doable standpoint, if keeping your elbow bent, you don't feel like it's challenging the mobility, it doesn't feel tight, well, then the more you straighten that arm, the more of a pull you should get through that armpit.
Yeah.
And the more you can reach back to open up that chest. So whatever feels good for you.
I think when you think of slicking the hair back, it has to be Elvis's hair.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I always think of. Absolutely.
I was,
Thank you very much.
When you talk about weights, is that a 5-pound weight that you use, or because Walmart's got 3 pounds and 5 pounds and
Nice. Now reach across your body, gang. Yeah, so if you know, usually you buy them in doubles, right? So if when people ask the difference between a 3 and a 5 pound, and you have to buy them in doubles anyway, well, one, you just got to find something that's challenging yet doable for you. So, you know, if the 3 pound in one hand is challenging, good, then go for that, because then you can progress to holding both 3 pounds in one hand to create a single 6 pound.
Right.
And again, that doesn't work for everybody. If they've got, you know, arthritis in their hands, they struggle to grip, things like that, well, then that's different. But, you know, if you've been using 3 pound weights already or something equivalent to, sorry, gang, we're reaching across, I didn't say that. Then the 5 pound can be a really good option. And
Heavy.
so here's what I want you to do. If you go into the store and they've got the weights there, there's 2 things you're going to do. You're going to hold that weight. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to push it out a little ways in front of you and back. And if you can do 5 to 10 of them and feel good, perfect. Then number 2, if your shoulder is fine with overhead movements, you're going to lift the weight up and down. And again, do 5 to 10 of those. It should feel challenging yet doable. So if you felt like, oh yeah, I'm lifting and lowering this weight, all right, let's go, easy peasy. Okay, then you need a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
But if you pick that weight up and you go, ooh, oh no, that's heavy, then you need lighter.
Okay, usually I do
Yeah.
these online, I buy online, but maybe I can get
Okay.
out there. We'll see.
Well, so 1 liter of liquid, of water, is 2.2 pounds.
Okay,
So
Okay.
if you've got a 2 liter milk jug, you know, or if
Yeah.
you easily, or if you've got a container that holds a certain amount of water, you can get
Right.
a bit of a feel for the weight that way.
right, good idea, good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
Okay.
So try that.
Yeah.
But get the measurement right. And
Thank
then just realize that holding the weight sometimes feels a little bit either lighter because it's easier to hold a weight versus if you've got a big jug with no handles,
right,
a big container.
right, yeah, gotcha.
And sometimes the weight feels heavier because it's concentrated. So there's less surface area. My understanding of physics is poor, but I know that the smaller, more concentrated weight, the smaller surface area, the perception can be that it feels heavier.
Right, yeah, I understand, yeah.
Hmm.
The other weight would be 2 bottles of beer in each hand.
There you go. But as you get stronger, you're going to need 3 bottles of beer.
Yeah.
Guys,
Oh my
that's the wrong class.
Don't drink them.
So get the 5 pound and the 3 pound, and then you'll be set for the summer.
There you go.
See, you're
Sorry for getting that
strengthening,
started.
you strengthen us, Jill, and people are full of beans then, before they
Which
were
is
quiet.
great. Well, geez, you guys focused so hard today. And you got worked harder than maybe you were expecting.
I was thinking, if you have 3 bottles of beer and it gets too hard partway through, drink 1.
That's right.
But you gotta do it balanced, 1 in each hand.
Right.
I get rid of 2.
You guys.
Jeez. There we go, gang. And again, going slow and controlled, trying to challenge that mobility each rep. All right. So remember the goal for today, and again, I'll come closer to the camera. The goal for today was really to give you all a better understanding of how to adjust intensity for increasing intensity and decreasing intensity based on how you feel on a given day?
Mhm.
Is everyone leaving with a better understanding?
Hmm.
And don't lie. If you don't, that's fine.
Joe,
Yeah.
before I
Yes,
forget,
David.
can I apologize for being late? My computer went mad. I switched it on at about 10 to, and it took about 25 minutes to upload and clean and do all the other things. And I'm waiting frantically there. And I know
Oh,
you-
geez.
I could do nothing. Very sorry. Sorry.
That's okay,
Okay.
David. That happens. And some of that
Okay.
stuff is sometimes out of our control. And you
Thank
did
you.
your best and you got on here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I
I
enjoyed it.
mentioned a webinar came in, arthritis in the back and neck, and that is from Arthritis Society.
Nice.
And it's Thursday, the 19th, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we are 3 hours earlier than that.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
Of course, we
Bye-bye.
have,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
our new
Thank
Zoom.
you, everyone.
Have a great
Thanks.